want all that buttering up on tape. Oh, thank you. Now that I see my orange light. So I just want everybody to know, because we had the little input session today, we're going to probably go until about 12:50 or so. If you really have to leave, please do so quietly. We understand. It was a lot of good information that we had to get today and get out there today. On that note, David, we have a tradition here at GNA where I kind of need you to go all the way to the side of the building. In San Jose, we call it the back. In San Bruno, we call it the side. So today's special speaker, I've been interested in hearing him speak, but I think I met him 6 months ago or so, and I've been trying to get him to speak ever since. But it's J David Currie. He just recently moved his office from Fremont to Burlingame. So now, after he got that done, he got all settled in. Now he's back in the San Bruno chapter. J David is with the Weight Loss and More Wellness Coaching. He's wellness director at Landmark Spas in Burlingame. It's such a long title, I had to read it today. But, you know, and in today's society, we all need to know about health and wellness. We all need to know how to take care of ourselves, and continuing to take tips from different people on this subject as well. So today, J David is going to talk about, as my phone loads here, I was going to write it out, and I should have wrote it out. I didn't. I'm sorry. But today he's going to talk about limiting beliefs and how they manifest themselves in your life. So it's going to be a good topic. I hope you all brought your pens and paper, because it's going to be some good golden nuggets. Why don't we all get as loud as possible and welcome J David Currie! Yeah!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Allow me just a moment to make sure we have technical difficulties. And so that way you guys can see the full screen. Hopefully you can see the larger screen. Okay, well they have this smaller screen here that point that direction there. And I actually do have a video projector, but I thought just today a smaller crowd like this, smaller venue, this would be a better way for me to present my talk. So I'm going to say, first off, this presentation that I'm about to give to you is a work in progress. Okay, so in retrospect for the very kind, wonderful introduction that I got from Eric, thank you. And Elias, you guys have been so very warm and welcoming to me into this group. I want to say very clearly, I feel it's a real honor to get a chance to speak to you. And I'm very thrilled that you're going to be leading this group in the future, because I've gotten to know you probably closer than anybody else in this room so far, just because we had one one-on-one, anyone in this room so far, except for Sal later today, and it's been with you. And I want to say this before I actually get started with my actual presentation, and that is about Ann. Is that, you know, I mentioned last week, I did talk kindly about her. I would call it edification. And I would say this more, I want to elaborate a little more about that, because she's had a profound effect on me already. And I expect that I will get profound effects from the rest of you in my life as I get to know you and your experience and your exposure to what you do and so forth. And I hope that I can share some of my thoughts back with you. But thank you, Ann, because I've been a doctor for 31 years.
Wow.
For 30 years, I was a chiropractic physician. I'm a chiropractic physician, I should say. For 30 years, I practiced in Fremont. In October of last year, I closed my practice. I have to stay just sideways with a reflection on the mirror.
Elias, can you turn that thing?
Actually, if you can roll that one, yeah, that one down, that would really help me a lot. Thank you. Oh, good. I'm not getting close. Thank you. Because otherwise I can't look that way, and I don't want to, you know, pretend like I'm not paying attention to all the audience. But I closed my practice down in October, and it was a big deal. I've raised 4 children. I have grandchildren. I have 4 already arrived, and 1 in the cooker. And
the cooker.
I'm remarried. I have a new wife. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to see my wife, this is my wife and my new 3-year-old daughter. I'm so proud and so happy to know about the cry because I put them on an airplane yesterday. I'm sorry. I put them on an airplane yesterday to go to Japan to visit her daddy and her family. And they're going to be gone for a month. And so this is day 1 out of 30. So every day I get to count. So it's a kind of an emotional moment for me. Can I share one thing personal with you before I talk here? And how much time do I actually have?
Until about 12:50 or so.
I don't know what time it is right now.
Yeah, about 25 minutes.
Oh, great. Oh, that's plenty of time. I want to share something personal with you because it has to do with my wife, and they arrived into Japan, and I want to share with you the email that I got, just so you get to get an idea who I am. And this is an email that was sent out at 8 o'clock this morning to me, and it says, "Hi honey, hope you had a good sleep." Hi to us in turn. I'm like, I'm there. My family's in an airplane. Okay, going across a big drink of water there, and I'm nervous about airplanes to begin with. And she knows that, so that's where that came from. But then she says, "We have just got to my daddy's house. It's 1 a.m. on February 22nd. My brother, his girlfriend, and my sister's family, all their family came to see us at the airport. They have been home. She has been home in 2.5 years. Okay, my daughter's 3 now. Micah, who is my daughter, got a lot of presents from them. Micah was a little shy with all of them at the beginning, except her grandpa. And it's called Oji-chan. That's how you say grandpa in Japanese. You know, it's supposed to be wakarimasu. I don't know if that means anything to you. I'm ready to speak a little bit of Japanese. Nihongo ga sukoshi wakarimasu. Hi. Okay, you know more than I do. But she said, "Oh, okay, teriyaki." Hope all of us can catch up with you again, and I'm glad that Oji-chan looks okay, and so forth and so on. But I just wanted to share that with you because this is a touching moment for me, and I hope that I touch your life sometime somewhere along the talk that I have today. Again, and bear with me, my talk is a work in progress, and I metamorphosize this talk about 3 or 4 different times. But I'm thrilled to be able to get a chance to speak to you. So, with that said, I always like to start my talk off with a nice warm fuzzy. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Nice warm fuzzy. And a thought here, never take someone's feelings for granted because you never know how much courage it took for them to show it to you. So I just showed you something about my feelings. And I'm actually kind of happy with myself. I didn't start crying in front of you.
So wait.
But I share that with you. I share that with you because I come from the heart, and I hope that you take this as my talk today as it comes from the heart. So with that said, I wanted to. The reason why I mentioned this about the crying thing and the emotions is that my wife is Japanese, and the Japanese men don't cry. It's a tradition. And so when I started to cry yesterday, I couldn't help it because the little girl, she loves to we walk along, we hold her hands, and we go 1, 2, 3, we lift her up and swing her in the air, and so she was in the bathroom and she wanted to spend a little time with Daddy, so I picked her up 2 arms and swung her around. I had such a great time, and then when it came time to say goodbye, I had to walk away and let them get on the airplane. I couldn't help it. I started crying like a baby. And so I think sometimes it's okay to share your vulnerable side. And so that's what I share that with you because I just sort of talk about it. But I want to talk about confidence, limiting beliefs, things that hold us back in life. And sometimes we all think that we have aspirations and ambitions and then we have excuses, right? So on one side we fight with ourselves. I want to, I can, and then the other side says, no, I can't, who do you think you are? And those are called excuses, right? Well, no excuse is good enough, and I want to share with you why I say that. Because I like running. And I used to think that I can't run a marathon. And when I saw this photo, I don't know if you can see that closely.
No excuse is good enough.
No excuse is good enough. So any excuse will work. The sun's in my eyes. I stepped on a rock. It was a mushy, stinky rock. So you get to do around. Listen, by the way, something different about me today. And I want you to know, when you're the speaker, you're vulnerable, right? I got dressed up for this occasion. Okay? But I want you to feel free to stare. Because I'm going to tell you in advance, and I'm going to ask you at the end if you can tell me what it is. But it's something different about me. And it's okay for you to notice. And I'll ask you, by my appearance, if you don't, it has nothing to do with my fly, okay, so don't worry.
Something different from people who see you before, you mean?
No, just about me. So just feel free. It's okay. You can look at me and see there's something different. And I use the word different about me that I want you to notice. And it's okay for you to stare and look closely because, you know, when you're the speaker, that's what you set yourself up. Right? So I want to talk about truism. So first off, who can tell me, what is it, when you hear the word truism, what does that mean to you?
It's a true statement.
Yeah. True statement, that's good. Okay, wait, hold on, flip. Okay, you get the first prize.
All right.
So by the way, there's a couple other prizes, and so if you answer correctly, if you answer the first, then you get a prize too, and I'd like to get 3 or 4 different people get a prize, not the same person. That's good. Anybody else? The word truism, what does that mean to you?
That's the wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay. Well, here's Webster's dictionary's definition. It says it's an undoubted or self-evident truth. It's especially one that's too obvious for mention. Well, here's the rest of the story. Truisms aren't always what you think they are. Because they're not always as they appear. So I want to share with you a couple of truisms here, and this is going to be a fill in the blank. This will be a little bit of an exercise, and I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy this, and I have prizes here, okay? So here you go. Here's the first one. Here's an example of a truism. You can tell a book by its
Cover.
Okay, good. I heard Eric. You're getting different prizes. I hear Eric, you get a prize. You can tell a book by its cover, right? That's a truism. We believe that to be true. We've heard that. We sort of think that because we've heard this and it's generally accepted that tell a book by its cover, right? Well, a boring book typically has a boring cover. A book that doesn't have a whole lot to say typically is kind of blank, right? But a very bright, very colorful cover tends to, okay. Think about the Bible. Yeah. Typically most Bibles are black or brown, solid color. Has 2 words on it, maybe Holy Bible, something, But inside of it, it's not boring. Okay, and this isn't the test of your belief, okay? And I'm not directing my belief towards you. So please don't take it that way. This is just an example. Sometimes things in life don't appear or appear different than what they really are. So yes, ma'am.
The phrase that I learned was the opposite. You cannot or you can't tell a book by its cover.
Correct. Thank you. Now you get a prize too.
That really bothered me.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to throw these at you in harm's way. That's good. That's great. Somebody caught that. And that, by the way, that was on purpose. Thank you. Okay, here's another one. The sun comes up in the
Morning.
East.
That's most people. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You get this one.
Both are true.
There's a reason for that. You'll get the idea here. But the sun comes up in the east. Well, and we accept that as a truism, right? You get up in the morning and to the east, you see the sun rising and to the west. But the truth of the matter is the sun doesn't move. It's the earth that's moving. So sometimes the things that we hear that we come to believe as truth, a truism if you will, are not necessarily the truth, or as they appear. See, the sun is stationary. Here's another one. 1 + 1 equals
3.
Typical. Thank you. 1 + 1 equals 2 is a truism. It's a mathematical truism, right?
It's an absolute truth.
It's an absolute truth. Well, let me show you how it may not always be as it appears, because you see, in a mathematical truism, it is 1 + 1 is 2. But let me show you. If you put a man and a woman together, what do you have? A couple. What is that? A 1. 1 + 1, a man and a woman becomes one couple. So this is 1 + 1 equals 1. Okay. Interesting, right? Take it a little step farther. Take it a little step farther. 1 + 1 becomes a couple, and that couple falls in love.
And that goes free.
And then they have another, okay, now 1 plus 1 equals 2, and then 3, and then maybe more, right? You could say 1 plus 1 is a sperm and an egg, comes together and it forms 1 plus 1 is what? A fertilized egg. But what is the potential of that fertilized egg? You see, interestingly enough, when we think of truisms, we think these things are always true and we completely understand. But when you look a little closer and when you look a little deeper, sometimes we find that things that we believe to be true are not necessarily as true as we might think. So with that said, here's another one. You are who you are. You can't change it because it's in your DNA or in your genes. There's one more, okay. Yeah, I think I got one more prize here. You win, okay. By the way, that prize that you have in your hand, let me tell you how valuable that is. That prize you have in your hand is incredible power because inside of it is the nutrition that is, take 1 packet of that 2 times a day, pick a basket cart full of fruits and vegetables, that's what's in that packet. 2 packets, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. That's how much nutrition is that. So some things.
And where do you get that? Where can you buy that?
That's not my message. That's not
Oh,
my
I was just wondering.
I don't care where you get your nutrition from, by the way. Okay, that's not my message today. But here's the idea. I want you to get the idea. Sometimes the things that appear to be so small, yet are so large, right? So it's because it's in your genes. Not necessarily so. Let me share with you what we know about genes today. The greatest discovery to date in the world of genetics is called epigenetics. You're going to hear that phrase more and more in life as time goes on. Here's what we're learning. We're learning that each one of us, when we were born, each one of our cells, we become quadrillions of cells as we become mature adults, okay? Each single cell has exactly the same genes, the same messages from one cell to another in your body. A heart cell, a muscle cell, a gland cell, a red blood cell, they all have exactly the same genetic information. But what makes them different is the expression of those genes. We also know that it's not just in your genes, it's how those genes are expressed. So there's a big story here, a very, very big story. Okay, so I hope that you're starting to get the idea that when we open our brain up and we start to look at things, we start to see that there's a big world of knowledge out there that gets untapped and gets unexpressed. So with that said, now here's another one. You can't help but get over it. Your mom was fat, her mom was fat, so you're going to be... Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that? No. I hope not. Everything that I've talked to today is starting to get you to start to understand these truisms that we are told that our mind starts to direct ourselves towards aren't necessarily true. See? Because you can stop that. Your dad was a criminal, his dad was a criminal, and so therefore you're going to be a... Okay? You see? It doesn't have to be that way. Somewhere along the line, life can change. It can change for the better, it can change for the worse, right? And so that's what I really wanted to share with you. Now I have an image here, I want you to take a close look at this. Because this is an image, this is a body scan. This is a very scientific scan here. And this is a body scan. On the right is a 120-pound woman, on the left is a 230-pound woman. Okay, basically twice the size. Now, you can see the insides of these 2 women. And again, this is a real true exam here. And you can see the insides. What I want you to take a look at, what do you see the obvious things that you see? First off, if you saw them without the insides, you saw them, their body. Now let's not get personal. I'm not trying to get cute or personal, right? We're a mixed audience here, and I'm very professional. This is my professional face.
Okay.
This is my home laughy face. My daughter knows I do that.
Enlarged internal organs.
That's a good one, yeah. That's exactly it, yeah. Some people notice that the thighs touch together, they don't touch together over there. Some people notice a smaller waistline, a bigger waistline. Some people notice that the arms and the sides can't help but, be flapping, touching, mashing up against each other. But the point of the matter is that, yeah, take a look at the difference in the heart. I want you to look really closely because I want you to see all this white from here, that's fat. I want you to see, it's not just on the outside, guys, it's on the inside. It's squishing your organs, it's squishing all your glands. And you know the women typically put on weight on the outside? That's called cellulite, more superficial. Men tend to put weight on the inside. So let me ask you this, if a man was 30 pounds overweight and a woman was 30 pounds overweight, equally as much overweight, proportionately same size, right? Which one do you think would be more in danger, a 30-pound overweight man or a 30-pound overweight woman with what you just learned?
Man.
Absolutely, and you know why, right?
Well, because then you put it on in their midsection, women put it down around their hips, and this can release into the heart. And
absolutely. And see, so this is a truism. But sometimes we don't recognize that. And so I want you to take a really close look at what you notice in the enlarged heart. Notice that the liver.
is that what your liver is?
The liver is. Stomach is on the left, upper left, liver, triangle, right over here. Guess where your appendix is.
So what's the pizza?
So sometimes when we look at things like this, I just wanted to share with you now, this is personal, okay? I'm sharing this with you because this is what I look like. I can't let you look at that too long. Because I told you to look closely, right? April 15th, my story is, April 15th, I weighed 204 pounds. Okay? 30 days later, I weighed 186.
Say that again. From what to what?
April 15th, I weighed 204 pounds. 30 days later, I weighed 186. That was April 15th of last year. So by mid-May, I weighed 186. Today, I weighed 187. I haven't been on a diet, quote unquote, since then. I'm sharing with you a truism now. Because you see, you can gain control of your health, you can gain control of your weight, if I can share this with you, by understanding how it works. It's not necessarily about a diet, but it is about a lifestyle. It is about learning some habits. It is about learning some changes. And listen, I don't care what you do. If you're overweight, I could care less what you do. I'm a doctor. I'm only concerned that you get well, that you get better. If you have a product or a company that has a diet or a book that shows you a way to lose weight, I don't care what it is. Whatever the vehicle is, if it gets you healthy and it works, I could not be happier for you. My only concern is that if you weigh 204 and men, this is for the men, I have things to share with the women later so don't get left out, but men, you know what we do when we slowly start putting on weight? You know what an ostrich does when they don't want to believe the truth? They put their head in the sand, right? So here's how the men do this. We just go to denial. I'm okay with my weight. I'm okay. I'm happy with that. And so the shirts that we tie with, they start getting a little tight and you start to feel this. Okay? You didn't feel that when you weighed 185 pounds. By the way, this shirt, I couldn't button in April. It was very short. I couldn't button in April. I had no idea how fat my face was. I certainly had no idea how fat my neck was. Fat! Okay? Now, so what did I do? Well, I didn't get my blood pressure checked. First off, I'll just tell you what I didn't do. I didn't get my blood pressure checked. I could feel it pulsing up against my... So what I did is I started loosening up my tie and loosening up. I put the top button and I just kind of went along. I was casual. I was cool. I was cool. I'm cool. I'm alright. I'm cool. See? Now women, when they get to notice they're not happy with themselves, with their weight, what do they typically do? They'll talk to other women, right? That's how women want men of Mars, women of Venus, and that's just a generalization. But the point is that men don't always stick their head in the sand, and women don't always just talk about it to make themselves feel better. But again, I'm only concerned about the result. That's all I'm concerned with. As a doctor, I have to tell you, your limiting belief, if you've been told your mom was fat, her mom was fat, and you could go even further, and her mom was fat, and so who do you think you are? You're not going to be unfat. You're destined to be fat, right? It doesn't matter. Limiting beliefs. So, what you don't know really truly can kill you. I'm going to share with you. I hope that you are ready to learn something now. I'm doctors or teachers, right? I go to teaching mode for just a brief moment here. So bear with me. When you go shopping, what you don't know can kill you. Let me tell you this. When you put your two hands on a shopping cart, do you know it's a matter of life and death? Do you realize that you really stop and think about it? It is truly a matter of life and death. Because what you put in that cart can kill you or it can keep you going. And if you shop in the aisles versus shop around the periphery, guess what? If you tend to spend most of your time shopping down the aisles, and I hope to share this with you why I say this, because this is a truism. If you're buying things and putting them into that cart that are coming from a box and they're packaged, and they have a label on them with all the ingredients, you probably should take it out of your cart and put it back. I'm telling you a truism. Real food comes from the grocery center section. Real food. Artificial food that's loaded with poisons, including high fructose corn syrup, trans fats, chemicals, and processed whatever, comes through the aisles, right? If you shop at Trader Joe's, probably a pretty good place to shop, right? Wouldn't you agree? Most of us say, yeah, pretty good place to shop.
Of course.
Do you know that if you read the labels, even on things that you get from good old Trader Joe's, let me give you a quick lesson about reading food labels. I think that's the next slide. Reading food labels. Here's the label. First off, let me give you a real quick 30-second lesson on what you learn when you read food labels. First off, the first thing that's listed is the most ingredient in there. And it goes, the next one is the next most, and so forth and so on. So, let me just read for you what's in here. The first thing it says, sugar, comma, mango. That's it, only two items. Sugar, listed first.
So there's more sugar in that than there is mango?
There's a lot of sugar in it.
Wow.
Dehydrated, added sugar. Okay? Now, I gave you a prize, I'll take this back for you, because when Eric and I were joking, truth of the matter is I can't drink black coffee. I just can't drink it. I have to have something sweet. I have to admit that's a vice I can't break. Okay, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't have a lot of bad habits. But one bad habit I have is I can have sweetened milk in my sugar. So let's just read the label here. Ingredients. First, water. Liquid. Second, sugar. Third, corn syrup.
Wow, more sugar. Yeah.
More sugar, okay. Next, partially hydrogenated soybean oil and cottonseed oil. And read that as trans fat. Okay? Now, do you know what trans fat is? Let me give you an example. Who here has heard of Crisco cooking oil?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know what that is called? Lard? In room temperature? Okay.
Not lard.
Okay, alright, well.
It's not lard.
Okay, lard. Let's talk about lard. Even Crisco, I'm talking about the heart.
Vegetable sharding and lard, and there's
Lard. You're correct. I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. Correct. Thank you. Lard. At room temperature, it is a
solid.
Solid, right? Okay? I want you to know that if you took the lid off of that, this is what we cook in. We cook it. You take the lid off that and leave it uncapped for 6 months. It's going to be exactly the same as it was 6 months earlier. 6 years later, it will be exactly the same as it was. You might as well eat plastic. That's what trans fat is. If you're cooking, if you're eating at a place, if you're eating at fast food restaurants and it's fried, guess what's? But it's still not healthy. Okay. So the point is, high fructose corn syrup is, you know what? Listen, there's an epidemic of obesity in our country, and this is what I really want to share with you today. There's an epidemic of obesity and people eat overweight, and it's a really serious deal. It's a very, very serious thing. Now, how serious is this? How did it get serious? Think about 1970. Obesity in our country was about 20% from coast to coast. Today, it's closer to 65 to 75%, depending on what expert you listen to quantify, right? Now, I want you to think about what happened in the early 70s to change things. I'll tell you 2 things that happened. Number 1, trans fat started infiltrating into our diet. And number 2, we switched from sugar to high fructose corn syrup. Okay? Do you know what's sweetened in Coca-Cola now? It used to be, we say 10 teaspoons of sugar in 1 12-ounce can of Coke. Now we can't say that. You know why? It's not sweetened with sugar anymore. It's sweetened with high fructose corn syrup. That high fructose corn syrup is powerful and it's killing you. If you're eating foods that are loaded with that, you're on a fast track to diabetes. Did you know that type 2 diabetes, adult onset diabetes, which is probably, look around people that are in their 40s and beyond, the high percentage of people that are suddenly diabetic. Do you know where that comes from? Lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's a new disease. Alzheimer's. Did your parents ever hear of it? We used to call them, they just get a little senile. Alzheimer's is a real thing. It's not just loss of memory. It's a serious. Anybody here ever watched someone, a loved one, or someone you know go through Alzheimer's? It's a very serious debility. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's just a little bit step short of Lou Gehrig's disease, sclerosis. Don't worry, I had to go to college for 8 years when I was saying words like that. Okay. Call it Lou Gehrig's disease. Literally, a front row seat to your own death. Watch yourself die. Okay? Alzheimer's is the same thing, except you don't even know that you died. Right? Serious deal here. So here's another truism that you've probably heard. To lose weight, here's the secret. You got to burn more calories than you
take it.
Okay, now let me ask you, do you believe that? Now with everything I've done so far, do you think there might be more to the story? Let me give you an example. Let me tell you clearly how there's more to the story. 100 calories of sugar is not the same as 100 calories of fruits and vegetables. Would you agree?
Right.
So when you limit your diet to 1,000 calories or 1,500 calories in a day, which is pretty low, right? 1,000 to 1,500 calories in a day. If that's loaded with fruits and vegetables versus you're eating high fructose corn syrup, you get the point? One's going to make you very, very sick. One's going to make you very, very healthy.
Right.
So this is one of the food labels I already talked about. Things are not always the way they seem to be.
Hey, David, is that what they say when they mean complex carbohydrates? They get processed differently than regular carbohydrates?
Thank you for asking that question. The question always comes up. I should avoid carbs, right? There was a diet that came about 15 years ago, maybe 20, somewhere in that age range there.
Atkins diet, yeah.
Diet that said, so many of us are afraid to eat carbs, and to a point, you're right. But that was a serious flaw in his whole program. That's why the Atkins diet is not very popular among doctor circles anymore. People were getting sick, very, very sick on an Atkins diet.
There was a lot of us that went on that diet, and we were on the air, and I tell you, we were always hungry, and some of us did get sick.
Well, and so here's the point. The carbs are, the answer to your question is, carbs are critical. Your blood has to have glucose. That's a carb. Your brain, good thing I pointed, right?
Your blood going to your brain.
Yeah, the blood to your brain feeds on glucose, and that's a carb, right? So you need carbohydrates in your diet, and the answer is yes. Complex carbohydrates are really, really crucial. So small. I'm going to end my talk with this one, and this is one of my favorite sayings. People may forget what you said, but they will never, and they might forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. I hope that I've brought a little light to you and shared a little bit of light to you so that your limiting beliefs, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, is always going to be true. My intention and my purpose today was to share with you that sometimes there's a little more to the story than the story that we have come to believe in the course of our life. So it's been my pleasure to be a chance to speak to you today. Thank you.
All right. Awesome.
I'm happy to answer questions if we have time.
Yes.
Any more questions? Wow, he explained it that good.
Yeah.
So what all is in here?
Oh, there you go.
In here are, it's a blend of micronutrients. First of carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Those are called macronutrients. That's the things you get in your food. Minerals and vitamins are called micronutrients. So what in here is a packet of blend of micronutrients that has been scientifically formulated to really feed your body with the micronutrients that most of us are missing in our daily diet. And it's absorbable. That's the big difference. Absorbable. In the red, the gel packs, those are omega-3 fish oils.
Okay.
Omega-3 fish oils, and fish oils are absolutely critical for brain and heart health. Absolutely critical.
So you take them all at the same time, or?
Yeah, what I do is I take a packet in the morning and a packet at night. And in science now we have the ability to measure. Okay, and if it's not measured, if you can't measure in science, it's not science. It's hearsay. It's okay. We have the ability now to measure in real time, scientifically and accurately, the absorption of micronutrients, and specifically carotenoid antioxidants into your blood, into your body, into the cells. Okay. In fact, that's a test that's very, very well accepted in medical circles these days, and many of my colleagues are jumping on board and starting to recognize. First off, I show hands. How many take vitamins?
Vitamin C.
Okay, if you don't, you probably should. I'll just go ahead and say that. I'm the speaker, so I can stand up and say that. whether you believe it or not, it's a truism. Okay, you probably should. The American Medical Association says that. They stand behind my statement. But all vitamins are not the same. If it's a hard pack, it's coated with shellac. Understand? Shellac's what they put on tabletops. How absorbable do you think that's going to be? How dissolvable, first off, versus absorbable? Okay? The question is, does it absorb? That's what this is. So
Is it also a food substitute?
It's
Like you
a
don't take
supplement.
supplement?
It's a supplement. Remember the word supplement? It's not a replacement for eating real food. You can't go eat at McDonald's and Jack in the Box, the Irish and French restaurant, Choc in the Box and McDonald's. You can't eat international food and go back and have supplements and feel you're going to be healthy.
Well, what about people like me who got fat because the body chemistry changed? Do you legally place in your because metabolism, my thyroid went out of whack and so did my kidney. So both at the same time.
You have some medical situations that you
And there's people like diabetics that their body just doesn't break it down.
Yeah. That's a great question, and I don't think I have time to address that, but I would love to have a one-on-one with you and I can share that with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dick. Come on, give him a hand clap.